Today, I'm going to be installing the Auxbeam switch panel in the 2024 Toyota Tacoma. A little bit different than in the third generation. A couple of reasons why. Number one, the battery's over there, but the access point is over here, and it used to be very convenient. You just go through that little grommet down there, or big grommet, and right there was where everything sat. Now, we got to run everything over to the battery and connect into this fuse box, and they actually have two fuse boxes. So what I'm going to do for the trigger wire, we'll get this out of the way right away, is put a add a fuse right into this 20 amp fuse right here, and that is for the windshield washer. I've checked it and it is not on when the truck is turned off. Many of these other fuses, matter of fact I think every one except for these here, are on when the truck, and these I guess, are on when the truck is off. I don't want that because that would mean it would be powered all the time. So I'm going to add the trigger wire there. I'm going to mount the Auxbeam switch right on top of the fuse block because there is no other place. And it's too bad because it would have been nice to have it right here, but can't do that. So I'm going to run the wiring. And it is long enough. It's going to go across the front of the truck here, the firewall. And then we're going to enter right down here where you can see that grommet right here, right there. That's where we're going to go through. You can see I already have a couple of wires running through. There is a nub down there, right down here, that you could snip the end off, but I don't think the end of the connector that we have to connect up to the switch inside the truck is going to fit through there, so I'm not going to utilize that. Now, inside the truck, this is another interesting part. There's really nowhere to put the control panel. That would be right here. It has to go somewhere in the truck, and you can see we don't really have anywhere convenient to put it. So what I'm going to do, I've gone ahead and pulled the vent and the trim piece off. And by the way, if you're looking to do that, you want to pull the trim piece first, right off of here, and it's just held on by these little pressure connector things. And then you can pull out the HVAC vent, if you will, which I've already done. Now, what I'm going to do with the wiring, I'm going to bring it in from right down here, and then it's going to kind of come out right here in the corner and connect up to the switch, which is going to sit right on top. And I'm going to double-side tape it for now so that I don't damage this trim piece. But it's going to be double-sided taped right to the top of this, so it's handy, convenient, and right where you want it to be. However, to do that, of course, you've got to get this wire connected, right? That means it's got to go from the outside in here, not through the vent, which is going to happen for me right here in the corner. Now, on the vent piece, I did Dremel a slot. You can see right there. I decided to do it this way because you're not going to be able to see that slot. It's going to be over here, right up in the corner on the side. When the truck is closed, you're never going to see it, and you're never going to see it unless you look in this way. The wire will be tucked up right in between, I'm hoping, the vent piece and this trim piece, kind of right up in this area. So you shouldn't be able to see that either, at least not much. Now, the only other thing I have to do, because this is tight here, is I've got to Dremel this in a little bit. The same kind of slot is what I put in the side of the trim piece here, so that the wire has a place to lie when it comes through here and then to the outside. So I have to Dremel this little area right here to give me a slot. Again, something you're never going to see, but it is going to take a little bit of cutting, if you will, and that's it. So we're going to start on that. I'm going to go ahead and get this Dremeled, and then I'm going to pull that wire, the controller head wire, I guess, into the cab. All right, right there is my Dremeled slot. Again, notice you can't see it. It's hardly anything, and I wanted to stay away from this opening so I didn't weaken where that part is held in, and it's still very stout. So the wire is going to run down there, underneath, down to the grommet, up to the underneath the hood, and then over to the battery. We're going to do that next. We've got the wire run through. You can see right there. Pretty simple. And then I've got it right up here through this little slot area, and my little slot that I made on the side, so that ought to keep it out of the way. And then it will wrap around and plug right into the control head right there. At least that's my plan. So what I need to do next is go ahead and put this area back on, I guess. I want to make sure everything fits right. And then we're going to move on to running it across the hood area or the engine bay to where we can go ahead and mount the Auxbeam switch itself. All right, let me give you guys a quick sneak peek. It's going to go just like that. As you can see, you can barely, and in the driver's seat you'll never see it, but see the wire right there beside it, and it's going to be double-sided taped right there. Next up, we have to mount the box, the switch assembly, and the circuit breaker to the top of the fuse box, or fuse cover, I guess. Now, I'm doing this reluctantly. I am going to drill 4 holes to mount this up there. There's really no other way to do it. I will put some caulk under the washers for these top and bottom to protect for water. Now, a couple of tools make this a little bit easier. A circuit tester to see which fuses, I guess, stay on or off when the truck is turned off, so you know where to hook that trigger wire, which is going to come last. And of course, a Dremel for those little tight areas like that cable that I had to run through. Just makes the job a heck of a lot easier. And there is the end that I use to do that. It's just like a little sanding end, I guess. All right, here's the fit outside. Everything screwed down. I have to take the screws back out to put the caulking on, but this will show you what it's going to look like. I did a test fit. Everything is golden. What it looks like underneath. There's your 4 screws, and that's it. I bet it would probably be even watertight without putting anything in it, but overkill. I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway. And then we've got to run the trigger wire into probably the side, I'm guessing, of the box, which is going to mean a little notch somewhere. I'm not sure where yet. We'll see. I've got the trigger wire all figured out, I think. I did have to notch the fuse panel right here in the back. Not really a great idea, but I didn't really have any choice. The antifuse is going to plug in here, feed out of the back. And then I also notched the lid right there. Not the perfect notch in the world. I will put some caulk around that on the outside just to kind of protect it a little bit. But honestly, if water is a problem, you've got the battery right here. So I don't really see it as an issue, but nonetheless, I'm still gonna protect it as much as I can. In case you want to know, the tape is on here to keep the shavings from the Dremel from flying out inside of the fuse box. So that's why the tape was there. But now I'm ready to connect up the antifuse and the wiring, and then we'll plug everything in, get it tied up, and see if it actually works. It is done, finished. Only took me about 4 hours to do this job. Of course, I took my time, you know, but it'd probably take you about 3 hours if you didn't go slow like I did. Let's take a look. You guys can see it is mounted over here. I did put silicone everywhere, including in the back where the trigger wire goes in. Nothing's smoking, nothing's hot. Everything feels good. So I think we're okay. Again, this is the Auxbeam unit. This is the 60 amp breaker. And then the wiring runs over there and right through the grommet down there like I showed you, and then in the truck. Let's take a look. That's where it's mounted. That double-sided tape is robust. I kind of was putting it up there to get it where I wanted it, and it grabbed. And I'm like, crap. And then when I tried to pull it off, I pulled the whole trim piece off with it. So I don't think it's going anywhere. And you guys can see there's the wire obviously going in the side, but when you're sitting in here in the driver's seat, or anybody really even looking, I don't think that's an eyesore, so it looks pretty good to me. Now we have one thing to test. I have to start the truck up and see if the panel here lights up. It should. And then when the truck goes off, this should no longer be lit and not drawing any power. So let's do that and see if this was a success or not. Let's go. Let's go ahead, crank it up. And already the screen has lit up there. You guys can see, so the trigger wire is working. See if we have any weird things on the dash. I don't see anything unusual or odd, so I think it is a success. I do need to change the color on there. It's no longer green. It needs to be red now to match the truck, and I can do that with the Auxbeam switch. It's just an awesome device. Anyway, that's it. That's the install. Tried not to make the video way too long, so if you have any questions, you know, let me know. I'll try to help you out. I love it. I think it came out pretty well. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.